I'm interested in seeing if they renegotiated the terms when she became a mother. Some men don't communicate their expectations. I need to invite Mylira on here. Mylira, if you don't mind, I got 5 minutes of show left. I'm about to send you an invitation. Mylira, can you come on the show? I know this is different. I don't normally have guests, but Mylira is one of my favorite, just not just people in the world. She's an amazing person, but she's also a relationship. She got all kinds of letters. She's a certified everything. She's 68% to her degree, her doctorate. She does everything. Mylira, I'm about to send you the link. If you can come in, I would be greatly appreciative. If you can't, then I understand that too. Mylira says she's ready and put a butterfly up. We're gonna bring Mylira in. And listen, I know this show is running longer than we normally run. It's a great topic. And I think we can get both sides in. And I don't want y'all to want to say I only gave a man's perspective. I'm bringing Mylira in. She's a married woman, and for some reason she wakes up in the morning, this early in the morning, already dressed, earrings on, in the proper lighting, both cheeks covered. Thank you, Mylira, for coming in. Cheeks
You
covered.
are so welcome.
So this is Mylira Green, man. Not only a good friend of mine, but a just a great individual. She's a licensed clinical social worker, a certified trauma
Complex
professional,
trauma.
complex trauma professional, and you just got this last one. So congratulations on that one, CAIP. What's that one?
So that is a certified anxiety informed professional.
Anxiety. And so we saw a lot of all of these things in what happened in this situation. There was anxiety in there. There was some trauma because apparently he's been through some trauma that make him lash back out like that. And she might even have been through some trauma herself to make her act in the way that she's acted. And clinical social work, I mean, this is she did it socially. She was out socially, and she had her cheeks out socially, and he replied on social media. So one of the things you talked about was expectations of relationships. Kind of help me understand what you're saying with that, because that's not something people talk about a lot.
Yeah, so number one, I want to say thank you for letting me be on. The one thing that popped up, I was looking at some of the comments and they were saying how previously he posted videos of her twerking and pictures and things like that. And what that says to me is he was okay with how she showed up before she was a mother. And sometimes
Mm.
what happens is because their kid is still kind of fresh and new from my understanding, that now
Still got
that
the
you are
tags
a
on it.
mom, and you're out in these streets, I don't think they had a conversation of, well, this is the expectation I want my son's mother to have. I want you to carry yourself in this way. Or, back in the day, it is completely okay for you to have your butt out. But now my son is here. And I don't know if I want him to see your video of you shaking your butt. I don't know if I want him to see you with another man and confuse him. So I think what really happened was, let me see. It said that twerking he posted was just 2 weeks ago. So it's one of them pieces where I think people don't know how things can trigger a person if that expectation is not communicated. So the question would be, if he posted this twerking video, which I didn't see, was she twerking on somebody or was she just twerking by herself? This Usher video, whether it was an expectation, let's take her attire out. From the video that I saw, this young lady had her arm wrapped around him, was moving her body on him. They were engaging. It looked intimate to me. So for me, I'm taking out outfit because, heck, sometimes I wear my little stomach out. So I can't say nothing about her attire. But what I can say is, for some men, especially if they're not secure in the relationship itself and those expectations wasn't discussed, what I saw was a video that looked intimate. And we don't know if maybe she hasn't been intimate with him. We don't know if maybe she hasn't held him that way or things like that. So I think it's bigger than twerking, bigger than her outfit. It's more of what was his expectations for her in that space. He knew she was going to the concert, but did he know that it was going to be recorded? Did he know that it was going to be a big thing? These celebrities are human too. So we
Mm.
have no idea what it felt like. It'll be different if she just did it and nobody took videos. There was videos circulating of this thing. There was pictures circulated of this thing. Keke has always pushed the envelope. So I don't think he was surprised about that. I just think sometimes it might be how he perceived it, what was happening at that time. We don't know what was happening behind closed doors that made him say what he said. I don't condone what he says. I feel like that's a conversation that they should have had in person, honestly, but he put it out there.
And so I think there's always going to be levels. He posted a video solely focused on her butt. He didn't even show her face, and he was making sexual comments. So I still think that there's two parts about that. I still think that every man, first of all, has feelings. You can be triggered. I don't think that those feelings go away, especially when it's the person who you've chosen to be with. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you hold them in a different esteem, and like you said, different things can trigger it. And I also think that there's a level to you enjoying your wife or your girlfriend or whoever it is compared to somebody else enjoying your wife or girlfriend or whoever it is. So me twerking with my wife, or me and my wife being in the house and she twerking, or girlfriend, whichever way, and she twerking and I'm enjoying it. This is really for me. We're allowing the public into our lives, but these are my yams. And
Yeah,
I see it. But then you put those yams on somebody else, it's not the same feeling
yeah,
as it is. Second, I'm grown enough to admit it. If my woman goes to a party, leaves me at home with the baby, and I'm like, yo, go ahead, go out, enjoy your night, blah 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 blah, and I see her caked up on Usher,
mm-hmm.
I'm not happy with it, because now you're also, and I think everyone is allowed to have these insecurities. That is Usher Raymond.
Yeah,
If the two of them go into a room, everybody knows Usher, nobody knows Darius, right? My wife, out of the three people, if the three of them walk into a room, it's gonna be, oh, hey Keke, hey Usher.
yeah,
So in some ways, I can see him feeling like he's less of a man than Usher.
mm-hmm.
Your wife is going through changes. She says, I'm getting ready to change, I'm changing. People may not like it. Are you now changing what you like in a man, who you like in a man? Is
Yeah,
is there some, and like you said, and that's an intimate moment. That's slow dancing.
yeah.
Slow dancing is really different than just straight up twerking.
Yeah, and it goes back to communication. Like, was that communication? And again, I am not at all here to take sides. So I'm not saying Darius was right or wrong, Keke was right or wrong, but I want for people to be able to make this practical, right? And in general, if I knew that my significant other was going to go to this concert, and I knew, because she is an actor, she is a celebrity, and you told me, hey, we're going to have this thing where he's going to play this music and I'm going to dance with him and I'm going to do this. I believe if that conversation, and we've been talking about communication, if that conversation happened before she got there, I don't think he would have responded the way that he did. The video looked like she was free in her moment. She was able to, enjoy and have fun. People captured it. And because of the level of influence that she had, it became celebrity viral. Everybody and their mama sharing it. And now we don't know the inner feelings and thoughts that now he has to deal with. Dang, she's on this piece, like she's doing this stuff. So we have to be mindful that we don't hold people to a certain standard, especially men. I think sometimes as women, we can be very free going and be like, I'm just hanging out with my girls. I'm just going to this concert. That dance didn't mean nothing to me. But again, if that man already has insecurities, if he is still trying to establish what y'all are in relationship, whether he just posted her butt ass naked, regardless of what he did, in that moment when it met him, there was something triggered and he responded. Was his response the best? Absolutely not.
No.
But now we have to deal with this conversation of, in your own relationship, how well are you communicating? My husband know I like to dance. So if I'm going out with my girls and I don't do that often and I'm dancing, he already knows I'm gonna be respectful enough and not dance on nobody because I know how I dance. This person
Mm.
was hurt. And we have to respect the fact that he was hurt, even if he didn't make the right decision. He could have came to her and said, look, I don't like how that looked. I know we can't take it down. This is how I feel. But what are we going to do in the future? Am I still going to be your man? Did we talk about this new agreement? It's that space. We just need to start having those levels of conversation.
And one of the things I don't think that even Keke understands, and maybe even Darius understands, is the fishbowl of celebrity, right?
Mhm.
So just like you said, if that situation happens, if that situation happens to you, and not taking anything away from you, but if that same situation happens to you, it's not a big deal because it's not going to be plastered in his face every day. And like I said, one of his boys called. I don't
Yeah.
even know Darius like that, but I know one of Darius' boys was like, "Hey, dog, did you see Keke? Cuz." And so now everything in that whole relationship is amplified. So you now have outside influences playing on you. And so is it fair that you live in a fishbowl? That's part of the whole thing with fame. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already know I can't always go out. I would love to go out sometimes in just my pajamas, a wife beat, or run to the corner store. But I also know that I have a level, and I'm nowhere. And don't get me wrong, I'm nowhere in Keke land.
Yeah.
But I still, even in my own little level, know I don't know who I'm gonna run into. I don't know how it's gonna be seen. I don't know who's ready to put whatever on internet. So I gotta also always think about those things. I gotta think about I got kids. How do I want my kids to be represented? How do I want my family to be represented? I think it's all part of it. But I think
Yeah.
we're taking away a lot of what upset me about it was that women and some men acted like he wasn't allowed to have feelings, like he wasn't allowed to
Yeah.
express incorrectly. Now he handled it wrong. It's a conversation they're supposed to have in the house, without question. And he went on, and it was a lightweight, and people were like he's dragging her. I was like, that ain't even a drag.
Mhm.
That's a comment. He was
Yeah.
like, come on, it's the outfit. You're a mom. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, let's get to the surface level. Yes, he handled it wrong, but she wasn't always right too. I seen one of the husbands on here said, "Thank you. You said you would be respectful."
Yeah.
And so the question that I have is, and you're a relationship person, you do relationships. The
Yeah.
question I have is that people are saying, "Well, that's not his wife, so she can do what she want." Is that true? Do you think? Does that lead to successful relationships?
It honestly doesn't. It has to be harmony and balance. And I'll tell anybody, I don't perfect this. I don't have it perfect. But what I will say, it all goes down to communication. You and your significant other, or even if you're not significant other and you share children, there has to be an explicitly stated contract between the two of you of what my expectations are, what is a go, what's not a go. So let's say, yes, she is not his wife, right? Because that's what I'm hearing. And then people are saying, he's mom shaming. And we can get on that topic, but that's another topic for another day. What I will say is, if you are in any type of relationship or connection with a person, I need to know, what are your non-negotiables.
Mm.
For this individual, for this male, again, he handled it completely wrong. But I think he had an unexpressed non-negotiable that he didn't talk to Keke about. That's what it looked like from the outside looking in. If he has been posting all these videos and pictures, and normally you so sexy, you fine, I love you, I whatever, but then you put her on Usher Raymond, regardless of what she had on, that triggered his unexpressed non-negotiable. He's like, look, you can do this yourself, but when you add somebody else to it, oh, that's a no for me. And then his way of responding again was not appropriate. And it was in a way like, well, you a mom. Well, what does that mean? Instead of him saying you a mom, he could say, hey, that's not what I want for my son's mother to be doing. Because we do have to also understand, once it's out on social media, it doesn't go away. It really doesn't. Like, it's and I see some of the other comments that scrolling, kind of like he want to control the narrative, he want to do whatever. I don't think that his response was trying to control anything. I think his response was an emotional response. We
Absolutely.
behave off of our emotions. People have to understand, when situations happen, we perceive it with our thoughts. How I perceive it is how I'm going to feel about it. How I feel about it is how I'm going to behave. And I'm going to behave in a way to either get it from not making me feel bad or to keep this feeling going. So if he was emotionally triggered, we have to acknowledge that. I don't want us to slam him or her. He was emotionally triggered. He behaved like a child, because we do throw temper tantrums. And now this is the result. So it all comes down to, she triggered an unexpressed non-negotiable for him. I don't mind you sharing your body with the world. I don't mind you wearing whatever that you want to wear. I don't mind you doing these things. But what I do mind is what you're not about to do is share these jams that I had last night with Usher Raymond.
I
Like,
just can't have
I
it.
really think that's what was really the issue. And we can sit here talk male, female, men is this, women is that. It is a human being that got hurt. Everybody and their mama saw it. We went, what was it, maybe 4 hours before we even got his post, and then it turned to him. As human beings, we just need to communicate what our non-negotiables are. And at the same time, with my husband, if I do go out with my girls, and let me just say, listen, if I say, you know what, babe, I'm about to have an adult beverage. This is my girl's, friend. If somebody come behind me, you might see me kind of do whatever. I'm going to tell him before I go. I'm going to tell him, look, this is what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to move. If he tells me, you bet not put your cakes on nobody, guess what? Mylira's not going to do that. But that's because we had that conversation. So if anybody record me, you're not going to see me with anybody else. So I think that's really what it is. He had an emotional reaction, and we're dragging both of them and making something significant that honestly really isn't.
I love it, and I love the fact that he was like, if you don't, and that just comes out of respect. You still have the option the slam yams wherever you want to. It's your yamage. I don't think that's body control. I don't think, but I think that a lot of times those things are things that protect your emotional peace, and like you said, your own expectations. My expectations for my woman is that those are my yams, and if somebody's like that's being possessive, yeah, I those are my yams. I
Yeah.
filled out the paperwork for those yams, and I don't want anybody else on those yams. And it takes me to a place, and so I think both people have a level of respect, and it comes down to respecting each other. Um, she said, "I don't even know Mylira, but she's about to be my counselor and my life coach." So, and that's what she actually does. Yamage can lead the damage, and we're gonna get off here because it's been way too long. But I definitely want to say one of the things that I think protects our peace, and I'm glad you said that, Mylira, is that we should have these understandings in probably all our relationships, whether it be our romantic relationships, our interpersonal relationships, our relationships with people at work. Like, I think a lot of friendships end up dissolving because you expect one thing out of your friends. I don't expect it out of those friends. And we never meet in the middle, and we never have a conversation. Nobody says, hey, man, I really, out of my friends, I expect this. I expect loyalty. I expect you to answer when I call, blah, 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 blah. Where you have other friends who, like, Lonzo is one of my best friends, or two of my best friends up here, Alonzo and Darius. Alonzo, I talk to almost every day. Darius, I talk to when the moon is blue. But when that moon turns blue, the expectation from both of us is, if I call on you and I need you, you're going to be there. If I call on you and I need something, you'll be there. Where me and Zoe talk every day, that's kind of the expectation for our friendship. So I think all of our communication is just key, and not just communicating, but effective communication. Because a lot of times we talk at people, that's not communicating. Communicating is me being open to hearing what you're saying, you're hearing what I'm saying, and we kind of go back and forth and create a dialogue. That's
Yeah.
great, man. I love it, Mylira.
Thank you
Oh,
for
I'm
having
sorry.
me on. No,
Let me do
you're
this. Oh
fine.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I didn't say Renard. And so the constant wows when I said my best friends are on here, and I didn't say Renard. So that's what got me the five wows. I just kind of forgot you was on here, Renard. And Renard is different. And it's crazy because Renard and our relationship is, there are things in our relationship that I know I can and can't do with Bernard. I know Bernard is a PTSD guy. I know I can't throw my keys in the air around Bernard. And
Yep.
people will be like, well, you a grown man. You should be able to throw your keys. No, but I know what that's going to do to Bernard. And he's going to try to kill Charlie. And there ain't going to be nobody in the room named Charlie. So, all your relationships have levels, man. So I definitely appreciate you, Mylira. And if people don't know who Mylira is a fantastic, amazing counselor, life coach. She does a lot of amazing things, man. And you all can get where she's open to be hired. So
Yes.
definitely hire. Definitely, and this is what I said. She's definitely open to be hired, which is a financial relationship, and there will be communication about that. But let people know how they can get in contact with you and just the different services that you offer.
Yeah. So again, I'm Mylira Green. I am a licensed clinical social worker, but honestly, I'm just a servant at heart. As far as what I provide, I am a psychotherapist. So I do a lot with PTSD, schizophrenia, And those like heavy hitter diagnoses, because I want to normalize for people their experience so that when you go, you don't have to go into the hospital, you can actually live your life. I'm also a life coach, so I have an 8-week program that I walk people through, so then do I actually need a therapist or do I need a coach? So in this space, you learn who you are, so then you know what direction you need to go into and what's keeping you stuck. I'm a transformative speaker. I'm a Reiki master, so I do a lot of healing stuff. I'm a spiritual girl, so I do a lot of ministry. But all in all, my purpose is when I die, I want suicide to die with me. So I create customizable services based off of what you need. I've done family interventions. I've done grief work for universities. So I am here to really support. You can find me at www.myliratransforms.com. I am on IG, Mylira Transform, Facebook, Mylira Green. On YouTube, I'm trying to get people up there as well, which is Transforming with Mylira. And I always share my number with people because I feel like some people don't know where to start. Even if I'm not your start, I'm okay with that. I will connect you with who is. So that number is 757-609-0694. Again, that's 757-609-0694. And I do have some openings for some therapy people who want that. And then the coaching program, if you want to do it with you and your best girlfriends or organization, you can always do that as well.
Give me the phone number one more time. 757-609.
609-0694.
Yeah, I was gonna type it in so that people can see it. I appreciate you, man. I need to apologize because I think how often that you and I have talked and we've done so many things that I haven't even gotten into knowing all the things that you did. I don't think I've ever been like, hey, Mylira, just tell me all the things that you do. I think we've kind of just dumped stuff on you and said, this is what she is, rather than let you say, this is who I am. So, man, I appreciate that, man. And I apologize off the top for not letting people know that off the top. So I apologize for that. Thanks so much, Mylira. I'm finna go, man. I've been on here an hour and 19 minutes. That's a long